Hello guys, I'm Louise and I work for Tutor Impact, and I'm here today to just make a quick video for you about something which I've been struggling with when I've been trying to be fluent in another language. So at the moment, obviously I'm a native English speaker, but I'm trying to learn Spanish. And one thing that's really hard when you want to seem like you're fluent are things called idioms or idiomatic expressions. So I've just made a short PowerPoint for us to go through to teach you a few of these expressions. So I'll share that with you guys now. So what are idioms? An idiomatic expression is a saying which is very common in all over the world. Actually, every language in the world has idioms. And basically it's something that everyone who speaks that language will understand what it means, but the literal translation doesn't mean the same thing. Often they will have a pretty crazy literal translation. And so when you're trying to understand and learn a new language, you hear this phrase and you think, what does that mean? But it's because they are just over time, they've developed, and everyone understands what you're actually trying to say, even though the literal translation says something very different. So they're a bit difficult to explain without examples. So let's go through a couple of examples and I can help tell you what they mean, so you can use them in your conversations when you're speaking English and you'll sound like a really natural native speaker. Okay, so our first example, you might know this one because it's a very famous one. It's raining cats and dogs. So the literal translation of this is a bit terrifying, to be honest, that it would be raining cats and dogs. So obviously that isn't what people are saying. It's never in the history of the world, as far as I know, actually rained cats and dogs. What we're saying in English when we say this is that it's raining really heavily outside. So there's lots and lots and lots of rain. It's torrential rain. Other things we might say is it's absolutely chucking it down. Chucking, like you throw things, you chuck things. But yeah, this is a really well-known expression. So if you're ever in England and it's really raining, which is very likely because the weather in England is not very good, you can say, it's raining cats and dogs outside, and everyone will know what you mean. Okay, the next one. I'm only pulling your leg, or I'm pulling your leg. So I don't know if any of you might have heard of this one before. It's something that you say when you're being a little bit rude to someone, maybe, but as a joke. You're just having a joke with them, and maybe they take it seriously or they get offended, and you say, I'm only pulling your leg. Like, I don't really mean it. It's just a joke. I'm pulling your leg. So this is one that my dad says a lot because he'll say a joke or say something, a bit mean to me, just as a bit of a joke to tease me. And then if I kind of bite back and I say, Dad, you can't say that, he says, oh, I'm only pulling your leg. And it just means we don't mean it, it's just a joke. Okay, the next one is, it's not rocket science. So this is something we say when we mean that something isn't difficult. So rocket science, like things that people who work for NASA do, things that people do when they, make spaceships that go into space, is really complicated. They have to know lots of things, lots of maths, physics, things about space, engineering. They have to think about so many different things and it's very difficult. So what we say when we say it's not rocket science is we mean it's easy. Anyone can do it. You don't need a science degree, a math degree, a physics degree. So there are lots of contexts when you might use this one. It could be a little bit rude if you said it to someone in the wrong way. So if you want to use it, try not to be rude with it. It's more like a joke. Like if you give someone instructions and they don't understand, you can be like, oh, come on, it's not rocket science. But yeah, don't be too direct with it because it could be a bit rude. And especially in the UK where we are on the whole very polite. We don't like to be too rude to each other generally. So yeah, make sure you're using this one as a joke. Your next one, by the skin of your teeth. So this one's a bit strange because obviously we don't have skin on our teeth. So skin, obviously the thing that we have all on our body, and our teeth here. So when we say this, that you've done something by the skin of your teeth, it means you've only just done it. So maybe, oh, he won the running race by the skin of his teeth. He only just won it by a tiny little bit, because what we're imagining is when we look at our teeth, we don't have any skin on them. But what it's saying is if there was any skin on our teeth, it's so thin that you can barely see it. So if you say someone's done something by the skin of their teeth, they've only just been able to do it. Okay, the next one we have, speak of the devil. So when we speak of the devil, it's what we say when you've been speaking about someone, maybe you're at home or in a restaurant, in a cafe, and you're speaking about someone with your friends or with your teachers, whoever. You're having a conversation about a person, and then that person comes into the room, maybe by coincidence or they were always going to be there, but then you go, speak of the devil, because the full phrase is speak of the devil and the devil shall arrive. So it's a lot of these idioms as well, they come from longer phrases like speak of the devil and the devil shall arrive, and we shorten it. So now it's just speak of the devil, and it means someone you've just been talking about has now come into the room. And you say it when obviously you wouldn't say it to someone if you'd been saying bad things about them, because then they'll ask, what have you been saying about me? So you might say it if you were talking about someone in a friendly way, saying good things about them, and then they come in and you go, oh, speak of the devil. And then, they might want to know what you were saying about them, and it's no problem because you were saying nice things. The next one is breaking the ice. This one is very common in lots of situations when you're meeting new people, because what we mean when we say we're breaking the ice is that we're getting past any initial awkwardness, we're making everyone comfortable with each other, we're meeting new people for the first time. So maybe if you meet someone for the first time and you make a little joke so they laugh, that's broken the ice. Now, all of that initial nervousness when you first meet someone, and now you're laughing together, so the ice has been broken, and there's no problems, there's no awkwardness anymore. Often what you have, maybe if you start a new class at school or you start in a new job, when there's a group, you'll do what we call icebreaker activities or questions. And what we mean by this is the same thing. It's doing activities so that you all break the ice with each other. You all get to know each other a bit and stop feeling awkward with each other. So that is breaking the ice. The next one, you've bitten off more than you can chew. I like this one. This is a good one. This one is what you say to someone when they have too many things going on, or they've taken on a task which is too big for them to do. So like when you take a bite of something which is too big and you can't chew it because there's too much in your mouth, it's the same thing. You've taken on a task, or maybe you've said you'll do something for someone and it's not possible, you just can't, it's too much work for you. You've bitten off more than you can chew. And the other thing that we can say here is that you've got too much on your plate. It means the same thing, that maybe you've accepted this project and then also you go to running club and you have school and you have a part-time job and you have friends you have to see, and it's too much for one person. That means you've got too much on your plate, or you've bitten off more than you can chew. So feel free to watch this video back as well if you think, oh, I remember Louise was talking about something that I want to use. I can't remember what it was. Just jump back into the video and you'll be able to hear my explanation for it. The next one, That costs an arm and a leg. We say this when something is very expensive. So if it costs a lot of money, what we're saying is, oh, to pay for that, you would have to give your whole arm and a whole leg. That's how much money it costs. It's so expensive. But obviously they don't mean that. You don't have to pay an arm and a leg. It just means it costs a lot of money. Don't count your chickens. This one as well comes from a longer phrase which we shorten to don't count your chickens. The full phrase is don't count your chickens until they've hatched. So what it's saying is, imagine you have 20 eggs. You're a farmer, you have 20 eggs, and you're really excited because you think that that means you're going to get 20 new chickens that then you can sell or eat or do whatever you want with them. So you think, great, I've got 20 chickens. But then something goes wrong and maybe some of them don't hatch and you only end up with 10 chickens and 10 eggs which weren't good and they couldn't hatch. So what it's saying is, when you have a situation that's going to happen, don't get excited about what's going to happen or don't assume it's all going to go well until it's actually happened. Don't count your chickens until they've hatched. Don't cry over spilled milk. This basically means, oh, don't worry about things you can't change. It's not a big deal. You spilt some milk on the floor. It doesn't matter. We can wipe it up. Don't cry about it. Saying things that have happened, things that are in the past that you can't change, but you can fix easily. Don't worry about it. There's no point crying over it. What else do we have? Every cloud has a silver lining. This one is used quite often actually, and it basically means, so what it's saying is when we have a cloud, normally that's a bad thing. Everyone likes good weather. We like when it's sunny outside, there's no clouds in the sky. So when there's a cloud, it can be a bad thing, especially if it's a dark grey cloud and it's going to rain. But what this says is every cloud has a silver lining. What he's trying to say is that when bad things happen, often it will mean something good will happen as well. Every bad thing, every negative, there's normally a positive to it as well. So, for example, maybe it's snowing really badly that day, or it's raining really badly that day, and your bus breaks down on the way to school. That's so bad. Your bus has broken down. But silver lining, you get a day off school. Woohoo! So it's like bad things happen, but they can sometimes have positives. So it's trying to encourage people to always see the positive side of things when something bad happens. Get a taste of your own medicine. I like this one. This one is, if someone's being really nasty to people all the time, or they always do something which is really bad, and then one day someone's really nasty back to them, then they're getting a taste of their own medicine. They understand how it feels when they treat other people badly because they've been treated badly back as well. Go on a wild goose chase. So this one is when, if you're on a wild goose chase, it means that you're trying to do something and you're trying really, really hard to do something which just isn't going to happen. It's not going to work because basically, like when geese run around, they don't really have much purpose, much direction, unless they're running towards some food. They're generally just running wherever, they don't really care. So this is saying you're like a goose. You're not running with any direction. You're not going to get anywhere important. You're on a wild goose chase for something that you won't be able to do. And another way of saying this as well is for a similar thing, you're barking up the wrong tree. And what we mean when we say you're barking up the wrong tree is you're going down a route which isn't going to get you the answer you want or isn't going to get you the result that you want. So imagine there's this tree will get you the answer. And there's this tree, this route, this is the one that you're barking up, this is the one that you're trying to follow. There's no answer in this tree. You're barking up the wrong tree. And then we have let the cat out of the bag. And this one means if you are revealing a secret to someone or if there's been something that everyone's trying to keep quiet, and then you tell people, you've let the cat out the bag. Now everyone knows, and now there's no hiding it anymore. Okay, so that is the end of this talk on some idioms today. So I hope you've learned some new phrases that you can use when you're chatting in English, when you want to speak about the weather, when you want to speak about bad things that happen or give some advice to people. Lots of different phrases that we can use here. So look out for my other videos. I'll be posting some other things about maybe parties in England, or things about my life in Spain. So keep a lookout, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye guys.